This is Jim Williams with your Hurricane City Tropical Update video for August 26th, 11 p.m. We're keeping track of Hurricane Irene heading towards the mid-Atlantic. Here's the HurTrack program. Let's go ahead and put this in motion, and you'll see that the system approaches the Outer Banks of North Carolina in the very early morning hours. Morehead City should be under the hurricane force wind field, and then it moves into Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. Now, our schedule for tomorrow is to start the hurricane warning show right around 8 o'clock in the morning as the highest winds are arriving on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. We're going to have several live cams up on the live feed. We'll be keeping track of the radar. We'll be taking calls from our observers up and down the eastern seaboard throughout the next 24 to 36 hours. And this will all be recorded for the archive subscribers at Hurricane City. So tune in tomorrow for the Hurricane Warning Show. We'll have all kinds of different media sources up as the system moves up the East Coast. And here we go. As the day wears on, the system moves through the Outer Banks of North Carolina and then just east of Norfolk, Virginia, as an 85-mile-an-hour hurricane just east of Norfolk. And we're going to be in touch with Bill Phillips. He's going to have his live webcam out there tomorrow evening filming what he can. And then the system will be riding up the East Coast. Let's go ahead and show you what's going to happen as the system moves further up the coast. And let's zoom out just a little bit more here and show you what's going to happen. And let's focus right in on Long Island here and see what the timing is going to be for Long Island and for the New Jersey coast. Here we go. The system is moving in. And we're talking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. This should be approaching the southern coast of Long Island. And let's stop it right there. Now, this is going to be a high tide situation, so this will be a real dicey situation. But I believe the official forecast now is calling for 80-mile-per-hour winds at this point. I believe this may be just slightly weaker than this because the system is going to weaken significantly due to wind shear as it gets up in this area. So we may be dealing with maybe a 60 or 70-mile-an-hour tropical storm at this point, but it's still going to pile water up in here. There is going to be some coastal flooding, so there's going to be problems up and down the eastern seaboard over the weekend from Hurricane Irene. But that's the schedule for tomorrow. We'll be broadcasting all day. Now, here are the latest recon fixes from the hurricane hunters. You can see a definite north-northeast movement here. We had 950 millibars earlier, and it's been steady around 950. Now it went up to 951. Here's the latest 952 millibars. So the pressure is going up. The system is gradually beginning to weaken here. They're holding the intensity at 100 knots right now for the 11 p.m. advisory, but I believe when this approaches land, we may be down to Category 1 status in the morning. We'll have to see about that. As the pressure continues to rise, the wind should fall off. And we have maximum surface winds 66 knots, flight level winds around 108 knots. So they're extrapolating the flight level winds for the advisories to keep it at 100 knots rather than using the surface winds. The true surface winds are more like tropical storm type winds or Category 1. So that's probably what most people are going to feel at the surface as this moves on shore of the eastern United States coastline. Now here's our radar, wide range radar using WeatherTap, and you can see the system moving in on the Outer Banks. A lot of strong feeder bands. We had Mark Sudis cam up from HurricaneTrack.com a little while ago, and he's got very strong winds coming in there, 35, 45 miles an hour out of the east-southeast. He's going to be on the Outer Banks in the morning, and we'll be covering that as we move along. All right, let's take a look at some images here. First of all, here was this morning's models, and you can see there was a widespread. We had the BAM model over Nova Scotia. We had the GFDL inland over western New York. Now look at them today. The BAM model has joined the other models over eastern Long Island, and the GFDL model continues to want to take this up near the Pennsylvania border here with New Jersey, but I believe that model shifted a little bit to the right as well. So the models are pretty tightly clustered. Now here's the European model. This has been the best performer, one of the best performers on this system overall, and this has it going right over the Outer Banks. And here we are going into Sunday, and the system is up just north of Long Island and this shot right here. So it's definitely going to move north. I don't think there's any question right now that this is going to remain over land affecting the eastern seaboard. It's not going to go out to sea without affecting land. Now here is the HWRF model, and this was from, I believe this was yesterday's model, and it shows this right over um, heading into eastern Long Island and up into Cape Cod, and they show it as a 80-mile-an-hour hurricane. Let's go to the current run. Actually, this is the GFDL model, and this took it inland in eastern Pennsylvania. But here is the latest GFDL run, and this has it right over New Jersey. So the GFDL model has shifted a little bit to the right, and I think the reason is because Irene is beginning to make that northeast turn, and so the models may shift overnight a little bit more to the east, which would keep the highest winds away from the high population centers like New York City and Philadelphia. So hopefully we'll see more of a shift to the right tonight. Now here are the all-important intensity on the models for Hurricane Irene, and the best performing model has been the ship model on intensity, off by about 10 knots. And the ship, we're going based on a 24-hour period here, by the way. So in 24 hours, it keeps this right around 85 knots, right around where it is right now. So the ship model believes that this is going to make landfall in the Outer Banks as a 100-mile-an-hour hurricane. But look what happens when it gets up into Long Island up here. It really drops off significantly, down to about 55 or 60 knots when it's approaching Long Island. So that would calm things down a little bit as far as the storm surge. Let's hope that that pans out. Now, this could be off by as much as 10 or 12 miles per hour. Either way, it could be a bona fide Cat 1, or it could be even weaker than this, because this model's been off by about 10 knots going out 48 hours. Now, here is the expected hurricane force wind field of red wind. The red area is hurricane force wind fields, and the yellow are tropical storm force, and that includes New York City out here. So it looks like New York City might get spared the sustained hurricane force winds, but all of Long Island here is going to take a beating here tomorrow by hurricane force winds, if it holds together as a Category 1 by the time it gets up that way. Here's the expected rainfall totals: 11 to basically 9 to 11 inches all through the northeastern areas and down in the mid-Atlantic. We're expecting anywhere from like about 11.5 inches to about 9.5 inches throughout the area over the next 3 days. So this is going to be a bad situation with rainfall, tidal surging, surge flooding, but I don't think the winds are going to be as big of a deal as the tidal surge and the rain from this event. And again, here's one more look at the radar. There's our eye beginning to get into radar range and moving up in this general direction, so it should pass over the Outer Banks tomorrow, and then we'll see what happens after that. All right, here's our floater loop, and the system is holding its own, not real well organized. Again, the pressure is going up based on the recon. So, and again, this movement here is a little bit encouraging here, because if you extrapolated that, it might take it off the coast of North Carolina. That's a distinct possibility. And again, if they avoid those onshore winds on the east side of the hurricane, they could avoid really serious surge flooding in here. Now, here's the best performing model overall. It's the TCON model, and this takes it right up along the New Jersey coast and right into Long Island. That is the best performing model, off by 66.2 miles in 48 hours. So it looks like it's going to happen. It's going to head up into the northeast. We're going to see it all go down over the weekend. Tune in to HurricaneCity.tv. We'll be there for the Hurricane Warning Show for the next 24 to 36 hours, starting around 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's it for now. Thank you again for visiting Hurricane City. And one more thing, there will be no update videos tomorrow. We'll be covering Irene's landfall. This is the last update on Irene. Thank you very much for visiting, and good luck, everybody in the Northeast.